Yo, Cabin Podcast episode 5. What's up?
We're back in the place. We are back in the place. We missed out last week's episode because we kind of obviously had that like
Christmas,
New Year's rush, Christmas, everyone chilling with their families, getting ready for the year ahead. But we are back in the place. And one of the things that we were mentioning before in some of the episodes was that we wanted to have guests on, right? And this time we're joined by Josh Dohy. Josh Dohy is actually a friend of mine from Canada. We originally met in the USA, and when we were doing a tour of Stora for a Roof Culture Asian movie, and we met along the way. We were speaking on Instagram and decided we wanted to do a project together. Actually, Josh was coincidentally in kind of the same area.
Yeah, things just kind of lined up actually.
Yeah.
So we had kind of a plan for what we wanted to do for a video. But there was no inkling of action happening. And then all of a sudden I ended up in the United States to judge a parkour competition.
Wow.
And one of the judges was from Denver.
Yeah.
And so he was going to drive back to Denver. I hitched a ride with him, met up with Store, and then asked if they had an extra spot in their van, and the rest is history.
Yeah,
No
we
way.
went around different states in America.
How long ago
touring
was
the
this
movie.
again?
Oh, this is late. Oh, this is
It's
like
hard to think of the date.
Oh my
It
goodness.
was like
2017, I
yeah,
think.
coming up to 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then came back to England actually and filmed the video.
Yeah.
So yeah, I heard that Josh was going to be back in the area, and again, our times kind of coincidentally lined up. You were actually in the UK judging another competition.
Another,
right?
yeah, judging. Well, actually, okay. So this time I was in the UK to MC an event.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
so
dope.
I was. I've been to this gym once before, and I guess I left some kind of an impact because they invited me back to be the host.
Yeah.
They saw me hosting the North American Parkour Championships, and I guess they just wanted to have me back, or to have me MC their event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. So how did you find that? What was it like being back in the UK and then doing the event?
I will take any chance that I can to get back into the UK. I just fucking I love it here so much. I've got so many friends here, and there's just so many places that I enjoy being. I like being in Red Hill. I like being in Brighton.
Who likes being in Red
I
Hill?
fucking love Red Hill, dude. It's actually sick.
Like on the base level, I guess when you see
Yeah.
Red Hill, you think of it as just kind of like dead out, kind of strange, almost doesn't fit anywhere kind of town.
Yeah.
But beneath the layers, there's obviously some kind of weird like.
Well, I think the
people.
main thing for you, obviously, you grew up here, and that's like your home ground for training on
hub, yeah,
parkour.
parkour.
And there's like a lot of interesting little bits that people can like get into.
Yeah.
Whereas like you've never really been here,
Yeah.
so that's all new to you. So I can understand that.
Yeah, like externally, I can see how most people wouldn't consider Red Hill to be an interesting place, but because of the people and just because of just how everything comes together, it's just it became a very standout city for me.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and obviously, because Josh is into parkour, and seeing some of the old parkour videos that have come out of Red Hill, it must have been kind of interesting to be like,
be
okay, I'm
there.
actually here in this
It was
weird place
fantastic
now.
because
Yeah.
the way that I train parkour is inspired by the videos that Josh and Chris Thompson made here in Red Hill.
CNJ.
Yeah,
back
Chris
in the
actually
day.
was on the
CJ stuff.
podcast. Yeah, Chris
Yeah.
came on the podcast to speak about the ghost, the paranormal kind of ghost podcast. And yeah, it's kind of
Ghost
weird. Again, we've
cast.
all got like a weird connection with Chris, and then me and Louis, and it's kind of this weird synergy, kind of symbiosis. Kind of.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, like I said, coincidentally, Josh was in the area, and now he's here. So like, kind of summarize or like speak about yourself, but I'll do it for you. You don't want to be like, yeah, I'm basically like some kind of content creator.
Oh, it's so hard to speak for myself because
yeah.
I don't know what to share.
Well,
I would
People
say
don't
Josh
know.
is almost just kind of like an all about creative guy, and like a kind of
This is
creative
interesting for
piece.
me because like you know him pretty well. In fact, you know him better than you know me, maybe because you know him for a lot
known
longer.
him for longer. Yeah, obviously if you think about it, like
We spent a lot more time together.
together, but like there is this kind of like similarity, familiarity.
history and
between us. Obviously we've got
similarity.
that as well.
older friends.
Yeah, older
Yeah.
friends for sure.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
I know nothing about you. So
Yeah.
I guess
how
that's
old
what
are you,
it's
by the way?
about. I'm 22 years old.
22.
Yeah.
Great age. And like, what's your aspirations in life?
Oh my goodness.
Because so
Going in
you
deep
said that
that
you
way.
Wow, we're done.
parkour, a little bit of acting,
Yeah.
hosting, MC.
Yeah.
What else
How
are you
did that-
throwing
yeah,
into the
what-
mix?
Oh my goodness. I live a life of ambition. That's it.
Yeah.
I am kind of unstoppable in the sense that I am so goal oriented and I have things that I wish to achieve, and when those are done I move on to the next set of goals. My goal is to just create a life where everything that I do is my own.
Right.
Because kind of as a kid I realized that most of the things that I enjoyed and just all the activities that I did were all things that I created. For example, I would spend hours at home creating superheroes. Like there was a website called Hero Machine, and I would go on there and I would build these superheroes and I would print them out and hand them out to my friends. And I would be like, "This is the game we're playing today."
What was
You're
your favorite superhero?
I can't even remember any of them. Honestly, none of them were very memorable. They're all just kind of mixes of like what makes a cool superhero. They
I'm pretty sure
muscles and
everyone had that at one point, right? Like,
So that kind of stood out, and that was now that I
dope.
reflect on that, it just kind of stands out that everything that I've ever enjoyed doing is something that I've created. So I'm trying to just build a life where everything is my own.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what do you gravitate towards most at the moment, in this moment in time?
Right now I am finishing up my second year of acting school.
Dope.
Yeah, I got to be back there tomorrow actually.
Wow, that's mad.
Yeah, then I'm back in school from my winter break. But yeah, gravitating towards the acting world, it really intrigues me because I just love playing pretend.
Yeah.
It is so
It's mad
fun.
because I feel like obviously when I first had experience with you and where I saw you was Instagram, and I saw your movement video that you used to put in the gym or outside or whatever, and straight away I noticed you had a unique and standout style, and there was that element of performance in it, and I could see that there was kind of going to be some kind of acting influence, and then when you told me, I wasn't surprised. I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's a synergy between the way you move and the pieces you put together and your acting ability. So how is that like meshed together in a way, or where does that come from?
It's like
What inspired you?
each activity builds into the next. I think everything that I have done with ambition and with intent has built into the next thing in my life. For example, I started out, I wanted to be a pro longboarder.
Yeah.
So I'd get together with my friends and then...
I went through a phase like that as well.
Did you?
Yeah,
Did you?
yeah.
That's interesting.
But the difference probably between you and I is I fell off once and gave up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The same thing kind of happened to me.
No way. Yeah, I put it right there. Yeah.
Cheers. Basically went too fast down a hill and then just slid into a wall, and that was that. Like walked home crying bloody. I hate longboarding. I'm never going fast again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, basically everything is just kind of built into the next activity. Like longboarding took me into, I formed a band with my friends and just like one thing would end and then build into the next. For example,
so
like
what you
parkour.
would say is probably what you take from those experiences, even though you'd never really went through with them in the end, is like the social aspect of where you bonded with the certain people.
Yeah.
And that was like what you thrived off, right?
Yeah, it's like the way that I choose to go about things is... Go about, yeah. My Canadian accent. The way that I tackle life is... Everything I do, I believe, has transitive properties, has things that you can take from one activity to the next. So, for example, the 8 years that I've spent doing parkour, I'm not going to be leaving that empty-handed.
No.
In fact, I don't really plan on leaving at all. But everything that you do has some sort of a lesson you can take and then apply it into something else. It's just the power of having a growth mindset and then being able to learn and apply those lessons in different places.
Yeah, for sure. It's like it's that constant building, that constant kind of like... you know, like you said, you're goal orientated, so you're kind of leveling up each time.
Yeah.
And like you said, even though you have left that discipline or left the sport or the activity that you're doing, you can use that to then draw and take things and then almost allow it to have an effect on your style and the way you see things. And I guess that bleeds across into all areas of your life, because it's like, I guess if you can define creativity, it's like it affects your overall view on things, and when you see something, you're seeing it kind of from a different, displaying it and seeing it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Right? So
creativity is like the filter that reality passes through to create art. That's the way that I see it. Like life passes through creativity to create art.
Interesting. Very interesting point of view about it. And I guess there could be some kind of bleed over to what you do, Louis, in terms of music and your approach towards that also.
How do you mean? Sorry.
What do you mean? Creativity.
Oh, well, I'm not sure. Forgive me.
You look at it differently.
That's the thing.
I don't really feel like creativity stems from like. I don't really feel like creativity is a filter you put reality on.
Very cool.
I feel like it's more the other way around. It's like reality is just there and it comes in, and then is what.
Oh yeah, your individualistic point of view that you see. Yeah, for sure. I actually
is your filter,
I'd say I agree
your
with that
personal filter that's conformed of your memories, your experiences, and your actions. That's your filter that passes through, and like
you're the
reality plus that equals creativity in my mind.
Yes, I see that as well.
Yeah, maybe
I
you're
think
the
that
filter.
the creativity, like what makes a creativity filter, is everything that's within you, the nature, the nurture, everything that you've learned, all that. It all comes together to create that filter.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so again, okay, I was just mistaken. I guess I didn't really think the statement through clearly enough. But I do think there's parts of both of what you said that make sense, because it's almost like you are the filter, and then creativity comes out of your unique filter of the world. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're gonna see, like, everyone has their own individualistic perspective, and they see stuff in their unique way, like you said.
Yeah.
And then some people have that. I don't know how to explain it. It's like
pizzazz.
Pizzazz, yeah. The way they see things is interesting to other people and themselves, and then they project their creativity out.
Yeah, the most intriguing thing about creativity is that even if you had two people that were raised the exact same way, they would have much different creativity. I think, like, even if you had two people brought up with the same stimuli, they're still genetically different.
Yeah, there's still some. They're genetically different, and even though they might have a similar idea on the way they're seeing things, you're going to get a different perspective because they're a different person. So it's like you can't expect.
They see through a different filter.
Yeah, for sure. It's really interesting. So, obviously, like you said, you've got these creative outlets that you've used, and you're constantly learning and growing. Like, where do you see yourself? I'm obviously, I've been around you before, and you seem to be really interested in the Hollywood realm and going into film. So what's your inspiration for that, and like, where do you see yourself going? Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, the thing with how life has gone, this is kind of a cop-out answer, but I have no idea where it's going. I have certain ideas of where I want it to go, and I'm sure it's going to touch on those points. But the more that my life progresses, I realize that the goals are not necessarily the end points. The goals and the accomplishments are just sort of things that happen along the way as I set intentions and enjoy the process.
It's not about the destination.
Yeah, it's about the journey. Yeah.
It sounds cheesy, but it's true, I guess. Yeah. It's the actual journey itself that makes you grow.
And what you learn through it.
Yeah, you learn something, and then at the end result of that goal, then you're like, oh, okay. Now time for the next goal. Yeah. It's like you push to the next level, right?
But I do have intentions. Like, I intend to hopefully one day be an A-list actor. That's currently on my list. I've pretty much done the things that I've set out to do in parkour, so now it's all about just finding a deeper enjoyment for me.
Yeah.
Acting. Oh, I've started a clothing brand. It's called Self.
Okay.
So I'm looking to have that as a creative outlet. Like, I've got the brand is pretty much based off of experiences and lessons that I want to teach.
Right.
So a lot of the shirts, not necessarily all of them, but some of them are based
something you just like the look of, right?
Yeah, exactly. I just want to sell because it looks cool.
Yeah. Why not?
For one thing, it's just I want to make clothing that I want to wear.
Yeah.
And then for another thing, it's that I have life experiences that are best communicated through the clothing. So I sell the clothing and I include a story with it. For example, my very first T-shirt was about my very first T-shirt was about a threesome that I had at my going away party. Yeah. So I made that to celebrate that, and
That's dope.
Yeah. Basically, what happened was I was at my going away party, and there was these girls that were being like super duper weird. I was like, okay, so what's up with these girls? And they ended up kind of like presenting the question of a threesome to me.
Yeah.
Like, are you guys asking me this for real? And so I thought it all happened too easy. I was really jarred by how easy it happened. So I asked for a moment to consider, ran up the stairs in this house, and just sat down and tried to calm myself. Because it happened so easy that I thought they had some sort of malicious intent or something. So I was trying to calm myself and everything, and as I was doing it, one of my friends, Matthew Moore, comes up the stairs with a disposable camera, snaps a picture, and then goes back downstairs.
Oh my god. And
it is one of my favorite photos. The threesome ended up happening, and the photo is just, it is indicative of my attitude towards the entire thing that night. And it just, that whole memory and that photo just...
I can picture it.
Yeah,
clear
totally.
as day in my
head.
head.
There you go. You told the story well. You put it out well for sure.
Yeah, and the photo just describes it, and the shirt just kind of communicates the idea that you really have no idea what's
photo on the shirt.
Yeah, it is.
The photo is on the shirt.
Photos. Did I say shirt on the photo?
No, you said it properly.
Did
I'm
I?
pretty sure.
There's
a photo on the shirt.
So now it's gone now.
Yeah, doesn't matter. You knew what I meant.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
get it. I'm pretty sure you guys get it as well.
Yeah, and just the memory just goes to show that I have no idea how things are gonna go.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I find it interesting. Yeah, like looking at some of the designs, and I really like it. Yeah, like it was cool that you can kind of have that outlet to be able to put all your creativity in. And we were speaking about today actually about how your process with that, and like, you know, you said sometimes you might work on an idea for a month, and it's like you have a place to actually unleash your creativity. Parkour's that outlet, and also at the moment, like you said, you're now taking the acting more seriously, so that can be kind of like your ground. And like, obviously it must be hard doing the school and obviously wanting to do your other creative stuff as well.
Yeah.
And like, How is it? How are you finding it? Obviously, you seem to be quite busy. Like you're traveling now, you're going back, you've got school tomorrow. Like
the travel helps out a lot because the place that I'm located in Vancouver, I have a couple friends.
Yeah.
But I don't have a creative sphere.
Right.
So I have to leave that or create my own sphere. Thus far, I have not created it. I'm still kind of getting used to the area, kind of getting something together. But I need to be around.
But Vancouver sounds like a great city.
It's a great city,
Yeah,
but for the things that I do and for the person that I am, I need creative extroverts around me.
Right. Yeah.
And the people that I've chosen to surround myself with are introverts.
Yeah.
And that's by no fault of their own, but it is kind of been a little bit destructive on my creative process. I was experiencing a little bit of burnout before I came, but ever since.
So, what would you classify yourself? And I asked this even though I feel like I roughly know the answer.
Yeah.
But an introvert, somewhere in between, or an extrovert?
I would consider myself mostly an extrovert, but very easily influenced.
Yeah.
So I could be I could become a crappy introvert because I'm just taking on the people around me.
Right. Yeah.
Like with the 16
well, they say that
personalities.
you are like you're the concoction of the company you keep.
Yes.
And
Yeah. You're the average
sure.
of the 5 monkeys you spend
That's
most
it,
time with.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And so the 5 monkeys I've been spending my time with are not necessarily people that I believe would be a good influence on me. So it's
Especially where you are in life, you need those people to like bounce off the same sort of energy and just
exactly.
jump up, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what I've been finding while traveling, which is excellent.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be taking that home and just trying to just truck through the last bit of acting school.
definitely, yeah.
Because with the burnout, it kind of creeps up on you. It's almost like a depression. Like I wouldn't consider myself depressed in that situation, but I found myself in a situation where I was consuming more than I was creating. Because
Definitely.
when you're creating, you're trying.
And what happens when you burn out, like from a personal experience?
Yeah, it just your life converts from consumption or creation
No,
to
not in
consumption.
general. Like for you, what
is
did you-
burnout?
What did you go through when you burnt out?
Watching a lot of YouTube videos. basically consuming stuff I know is not good for me, but feeling like I didn't really have control over it.
Yeah.
You know you have control, but for whatever reason you're just gravitating towards it. I'm like, why am I watching these crappy YouTube videos? Why am I on Twitter?
Into it, you get pulled into it. That kind of like hits you, doesn't it?
You're looking for safety. You're looking to be
You're looking for
inundated.
validation.
Yes, you're looking for validation and also just to
Little
numb
dopamine
yourself.
hit.
Because it's easier to do that, isn't it? If you just tomorrow was like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna literally just like sit here, I'm gonna be absorbed, I'm gonna get stuck in the YouTube, I'm gonna get stuck in Instagram. How easy would it be for you to do that for a few days? Just chilling, you're ordering pizza here and there, you're just laying back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It takes that motivation and that energy to actually go out of it and work on your goals because it's actually harder. It's harder to do.
Yeah,
It's
because
so easy now.
everything's vying for our attention now because the way that social media and just all the content that we consume is structured, it's made to keep us in there. It's made to make us keep
long as
watching.
possible.
What's the next YouTube video, right?
Yeah.
What's the next Instagram
All
post?
fighting for your attention.
Yeah, everything's fighting for your attention, and to me, attention is your most valuable currency that you have.
I want to buy one of those light phones. I don't know if you've seen them. I think it's like a black and white phone, but it's got a smartphone capability.
You mentioned this, I think, before.
So I think you can still take a photo.
I'm going to the toilet, sorry.
Yeah, no worries, man. You can still take a photo, but you can't really text in the first one. I think the second one you can text.
Okay.
And it's like, it's a proper display, but just no color.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just looks amazing.
Cool.
Really thin, really small, so it has the essentials when you need it.
Yeah.
And I think a device like that would just be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a force control mechanism, right? You're trying to just grip yourself away from everything that's trying to pull you in, like the social medias and the colors and stuff.
Maybe that's like part of where your depression and burnout really came. Well, part of the reason of where it came from.
Yeah, I could see that. Just all of the things pulling at my attention, and I guess because I felt like I was lacking the power to change that, I got pulled
frustrated.
into it. Yeah, frustrated and pulled into it, and just I wasn't feeling very creative anymore or anything.
I think with that as well, you've got to have your guard up. Like, and the good thing as well, now you've had this one burnout, you can realize that it's going to be a distraction for you. And maybe when you get to those positions where you're like, like I can feel it coming again, just abandon it. Obviously, everyone knows how hard it is these days. Like, you're constantly bombarded with this stuff, and although it has its major benefits, because if you use it well, then and use it to your advantage, it's so useful. It's
They're
so good.
wonderful
Motivation.
tools if you choose to use them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
choose them in the right way. You choose to use them in the right way, I guess. But it's so easy to become, like you said, a consumer of information.
Yeah.
And not like you're not you've not got a good diet of information that you're allowing inside of you. Do you know
it is. It is like a diet, though. It really is.
It's mental nutrition.
Yeah, mental nutrition.
It's stuff that you're choosing to kind of like allow yourself to get your attention.
Yeah, and I found myself eating like virtual chicken nuggets, basically.
Yeah, hundreds of them, thousands of them.
I was eating a lot of chicken nuggets. But, just ever since.
It's just so easy.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's such a fine line between
you're
creation and consumption. Yeah,
definitely.
But the goal now is to kind of convert myself from consuming into a mode of creation, trying to replace these consumption tendencies and this urge to consume with just creation. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. Another thing as well, like, 'cause I know you. I'm pretty sure you're on the same page, and like we've had conversations about this kind of stuff before. But is there any kind of books that you've read, or you know what I mean? Like everyone kind of has their process. Like you listen to audiobooks. I think you said.
Yeah,
like,
I listen to a lot of audiobooks. Yeah. And just the book that has been one of the best things for me lately has been 10 Reasons to Delete Your Social Media Right Now by I think it's
the right topic.
Jared Lanier. So messed up that name, but basically it's just talking about how advertisement agencies are they are the customer with social media.
They're the devil.
Well, yeah, basically they're so powerful and they have so much control over what's going on, and with social media it's not you that's the customer, it's the advertising agencies. So they're always looking for the best way to reach you. I think
social media is very powerful in a way that you can execute some really morally wrong things through social media and still remain on the right side of the law. I mean, certain things you can take example of is like the backlash that certain actors or comedians or whatever receive when they tell a joke that was funny and relevant maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But like today, it's obviously not allowed.
Yeah.
And they still get caught up in the backlash because of what's been recorded ages ago. Where does the line come?
Even relevantly now, yeah, of course. It's like, I think we've spoken about this kind of topic before of like the bubble wrap nation and how everything has to be so carefully watched, and you know you can't say the wrong thing if you're in a professional situation. Like, I do agree to some level you've got to have that professionalism, but there's also the idea of freedom of speech. You should have the right to be able to say like a lot of things that you want to say, like even though people are going to construe it as negative or bad. You know, you should have your platform or your voice within reason.
Yeah, and that's definitely under attack right now because you don't know what is going to be weird to say.
Yeah, you don't know. You're probably watching your words, everything like. Yeah,
stepping on eggshells.
Yeah, exactly. For sure, full on eggshells.
Yeah, society has bought your word now. What do you say?
I don't know what I'm going to say, man. I can't quite figure it out.
Yeah. No, actually, I went through a process of trying to find anything that would have been messed up. Like anything I said that was messed up on social media, because I was trying to just make sure, just in case, like, because
airlock it.
Yeah, trying to make sure everything's airtight. Like I did a Google search of myself and checked every single result just to make sure, and that was. Well, a process.
I'm glad MySpace and Bebo are gone.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's the stone age of social media.
Yeah,
we're now kind of in maybe like the dark ages.
Imagine if one day some guy just digs up the old archives of MySpace and Bebo. Oh my god!
Stuff.
And just release it on public.
Yeah,
some kind of.
Or even worse, like video game forums. Video game forums
and every single message you've ever sent with those.
Yeah, just imagine like.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't think there would be very many people that would survive that.
Oh my god.
It's just because when you're anonymous, you have the power to say things that maybe you wouldn't be able to say beforehand, right? Like when you're on 4chan,
anyone can be a
Reddit,
keyboard warrior.
Yeah, it's true. And I think like kind of drifting back towards a point of like having to watch what you say. It's like I kind of think it's because civilization and history is at a point now where in the Western world things are so peaceful and there's not much going on necessarily in the way of violence or whatever. You hear about a lot of stuff on the news, but what is actually kind of going on? And I think that's kind of made people a lot more susceptible to pick up to the smaller things, because I've been in situations before. You then scale it down to like a personal situation where like I've been around someone and they've been like, it's been nothing's happened, like, because there's someone who lives their life in a situation where they're just at home alone, or they're not going out as much, you're not doing so much. It takes a very small thing to piss them off. They're like, oh no, you can see kind of the venom brewing inside.
Their reality has gone from macro to micro, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And everything small matters more.
That's because like life has become so easy to survive now. We don't need to worry about all the major things that need to keep you afloat. We worry about all the things that we don't need to worry about because they're the only things left to worry about, really.
Yeah. And if there is nothing to worry about, we will create something.
Exactly.
That's the craziest thing is when there is zero things to worry about, our brain needs something to stay on guard for, so it'll make.
But then, are those people creatives?
Does that take creative power?
Oh man! But like, for you as a creator, obviously now in this current situation with the social media and the ease and life moving at its pace, like how do you feel as it's an environment for you and your growth? Do you feel like it's a good time to be a creator, or
it's a good time, but it's a dangerous time
to be a creator?
Yeah. Well, I think that as a society we have all the tools at our disposal, but what is important is where we direct our attention. I think that everybody has the tools to be successful, but as long as you can maintain focus and attention.
Yeah, because like a person could say that, like, a discernible person could maybe say, like, yeah, it's just your fault. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't be just letting your attention being shifted towards these things. You should be practical and responsible enough to be
But when people are being paid for a job to get your attention from every single possible way they can, like, it's hard.
Yeah, for sure. But it's like going to a it's a difference between going to a library and going to a crowded place to study. Do you know what I mean? Like, why would you allow yourself to be distracted by these things?
I see. Yes.
Make sure that you haven't got your social media on. Get the app to turn off all the shit.
Yeah.
And then stay away from it, because
if you
I think
can't eat chocolate, don't put it in the
That's going to be
house.
the training. Do you know what I mean? That's going to be the future.
Yeah.
People are going to realize that you've got to focus your time on stuff. Like, right now is like it's like an age of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like people don't know the measures of it, because it's almost like an untested drug. We don't know the realms of how far
it's
it can
like old
go.
smoking. We're doing so much of it. There's fucking chain smoking all the time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that.
We're drinking and driving and chain smoking. We have no idea what's going on. We think it's good for us.
There's no regulation.
Yeah, there's no regulation.
But in the future, and you can even see it now. I think 2019, I saw in the media they were talking about more regulation on social media and having this online ID that you use restricts age, because a lot of young kids are being exposed to things they shouldn't be able to see.
I think the Black Mirror episode. Is it Black Mirror?
Bandersnatch.
Game of Consequences.
Game of Consequences.
Haven't seen it.
I've probably seen it, but I don't know the name.
It's in something. I don't think it's in Black Mirror, but I think it's the concept of like a TV show or something. Game of Consequences. I can't remember what it's. But people should be made to, like, their consequence has to have an effect. You can't just be going around giving out negative and hate to people when they don't deserve it, and like expect nothing back in return. That shit has to be logged, I think.
Yeah.
But that also begs the question then: where is that negativity coming from? Right.
It's come from the human condition, isn't it, really?
The innate human nature to act aggressive. Like, if you got frustration and anger inside you, your initial reaction is just like, hit something, like...
Yeah. So whereas people might be more violent in going around and beating each other up, now they take it to the internet and be like, ugh, and they're unleashing their rage.
We're having online riots in the streets.
And they're able to, like,
true.
Express their insecurities in a way that's never been able to people being able to express
so readily, so easily.
Yeah.
You can
So
just
easily.
get online, hop online. You can post your stuff to the world, and within 24 hours, someone could see it. The right person could share it or comment on it, and then you've got like a whole army of people who know all your personal stuff. Because another thing these days, people are now like putting their lives on display, which in effect can be positive, but also it can have negative connotations. So you could be like, I'm anxious, I'm this, I'm that, I've got an eating disorder, and you're pretty much putting your life out there for everyone to see, which people can use that to their advantage to manipulate you or affect you negatively. So it's like, again, we said this untested drug of like social media and this internet age. Like, we need to be smarter about it as people to like come up with more solid laws. I think
This podcast taking quite a dark turn.
yeah, we was sorry guys.
Let's lighten it up.
The positive, but it's interesting. Sorry, my rant's over now.
The UK so far.
I love the UK.
Yeah.
I
How long have you been there?
I've been here. Do you guys consider Ireland part of the UK?
Kind of, I guess.
So I was in Ireland for Christmas with my mom, and then I went off to Amsterdam for a parkour camp.
Oh, sick.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've been on an adventure.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
it's always good.
So started off, just kind of ran off most of my jet lag while I was in Ireland. Did a bunch of tourist stuff with my mom, and then
your mom was there as well. Nice.
Yeah, we just decided to do it
Cute.
just out of nowhere. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Let's go spend Christmas in Ireland.
Were you with family?
No family. We had a friend who had stayed with us before, so
nice.
yeah, she just kind of returned the favor, let us stay with her. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that was cool. And then from there, I went off to a parkour camp, which is basically it's called For the Love of Movement.
Nice.
And so what you do is you set up a hammock, train all day, listen to good music, hang out with your friends, and then at night party.
Nice.
It's like Neverland basically. There's no parents or anything. I mean, some people who are there having fun are parents, but like basically it's like if you had kids create
it's a little getaway, like, right?
It's like what?
It's like a little getaway if you love
totally.
parkour.
Yeah. And so basically you just go there and push yourself and just train with your friends from all around the world, and then
I'm not gonna lie, but this parkour industry it seems like it's getting really fucking big now.
Yeah,
like,
it's slow growing. Well, it's not even slow. Now it's rapidly growing.
Growing.
It's because of again, we had that negative talk about social media, but it does have a positive impact. And
because
if you use it in the right way, it
gets out.
Basically, YouTube was kind of the home of parkour. Like, it kind of still is, but YouTube was the main platform. And I feel like we didn't have that reach enough to let people see, and the content maybe was too long or whatever. But then when Instagram came about, all of the parkour people from YouTube, went to Instagram and took to Instagram, and then they kind of unleashed, and they were crazy, and they were having fun, they were uploading this, and then as Instagram grew and more people came to it, they saw, oh, what's this parkour thing? Oh, they're all doing it, and it kind of grew the audience. You know what I mean?
It is one of the most eye-grabbing things on Instagram. Yeah. Like, oh, what's this guy gonna do? Is he gonna fall? Is he gonna fail? Like, that's most people's questions, especially
so
if they're not familiar.
But the athleticism is like...
What are the statistics for people who actually fuck themselves up?
I think it's very low, man. Very low.
Yeah, I would say lower than most other sports.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's the amount of calculation and the practice that goes into it. It's like, I think a parkour mindset generally, and it's been pushed for a long time, is like to be smart about it. You know, you're not just going out and taking a massive risk without number one, having the training and the confidence and the practice of years of input into it, and number two, you've got to measure the distance, you've got to check the
But you saw what those little Indian kids were doing.
But that's because they haven't been educated in the correct way.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
not everyone's been educated like you guys have.
Yeah.
Where you took things like the proper route, you did like the vaults and jumps and stuff on smaller things that you can manage first. But like these Indian kids, you were showing me the video, they were just like doing these huge jumps, and shit you not, where he was landing from such a far away, there was like a step there with this diamond sort of edge going on.
It was more sketchy, do you know what I mean?
Mate, and he almost went into it. If anything connected, his head hit that, gone.
Yeah. But I think the thing about that, to take away from that is that with any other sport, there's associated risk. The only thing I guess about parkour is it's a lot easier for someone to just go, I'm gonna get my body, go outside, find some walls, and then try it.
It's like the blessing and the curse of parkour. Yeah. Is that all you need is a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
And some people even train without shoes. So, but it was, I think thus far it's been so safe because it's been a tight-knit community. It's been grassroots. Yeah. But the way that it's growing, I can see things getting a little bit more dangerous. Yeah. Because people just don't know the history. They don't know.
But it's philosophy. But that's just up to them. It's up to them to decide. It's up to them to look. You know what I mean? When I first started parkour, I pretty much saw District B13, but I took the safe route. Yeah. I thought, I can't just be jumping off buildings straight away. But then that's their choice. It's their
natural
problem
selection,
for it, I think.
Isn't
It's not natural selection, but it should be about the number one, the adult in their life telling them the right way, the adult in their life looking at it first.
100%.
You know what I mean? It should be a process. You're not just going to allow, say for example, again, upscale, maybe a different situation. Your son's going to school. Yeah. He meets someone who does motocross riding. He doesn't tell you about it. One day he goes over to the house. He gets on a bike and fucks himself up. Yeah. Obviously, it's a lot harder to do, but it's still a situation that can happen. And I feel like there's a lot of relatable situations in the world like that. But it's up to us as practitioners or people who do parkour to give the correct information out and stress that it is an important process. And if I don't know what other people are doing, but when we do the story videos, we're always talking about the process and showing how it works. It's not just look at this huge jump, it's done. There's a lot of the time if you watch YouTube videos, there is a process. So you know what I mean? It's that disclaimer.
Yeah, even with RCA, there was a lot of explanation as to what went behind the jumps. It wasn't just presenting these big jumps we do these first try. There's a lot of showing how you build into it and what is the mentality behind that.
But again, it's the two viewpoints. You're a person who's come to the sport and you've already been doing parkour for 8 years, but then Lui is here as just a person who has an outside view but inside view in a sense.
Has anyone ever told you you're an umpire of conversation?
What do you mean?
You're the judge. You're the granddaddy Josh that sits
Granddaddy Josh
analyzes everything and is has anyone...
Jokes. Well, I guess that could be useful in a podcast, maybe.
No, definitely.
Cool. Sick. Cool.
No,
I can roll with that. I like it.
Yeah, I think with parkour there's a certain trust in the people who choose to do it. And I think putting that trust in people creates a sense of responsibility, at least with people with the right mind, and then you feel like you're you're in charge. You're in charge of yourself, and therefore you want to keep yourself safe.
Going back to you, Josh.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel that obviously doing parkour and traveling and going to loads of different countries and, you know, meeting people has affected your creative perspective?
Oh, it has shattered my worldview. Because I think that travel is so goddamn important for people to do. Like, you see such a difference in terms of the empathy and the perspective.
And you just meet people and you just get what they're about.
Yeah,
you
learn that life is so much more than what it is in the tiny town that you grew up in or the big city, right? Like, there's so many experiences you have while traveling that just, they make you think that, oh, maybe I don't know so much. You know?
For sure.
I think it would be, and this is coming from the perspective of somebody who has done this. It's so easy to think that when you live in a small town, that's all there is to life.
It's so funny to think. As I was growing up, the older I got, the less I thought I knew.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I am moving to a point where I realize I know next to nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
That's kind of my...
Such a cocky kid, man.
Yeah, you think you know everything as a kid, and then you just kind of grow up and realize that there's so much more to know about the world.
That's I guess that's the beauty of growing up and, like, you know, learning throughout life. And the fact that you said that I know pretty much nothing means that you've got so much to grow and you've got so much to learn, because you're in effect a life learner. You're going through life and you're trying to find out more. Because a lot of people might get to the age of 25, 26, 30 and they're like, you know what, I am who I am. This is my life.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's just like, I feel like it's a very limiting perspective. And one thing is, you can't just go around changing other people's opinions like that. But I encourage people to try and keep going.
The Lord that there are people like that, because
you reckon?
Yeah, man.
Not everybody can do it this way. Not everybody can do it this way.
And also, like, if there wasn't the people who had the lower ambition, you know, a lot of jobs will not be filled, because no one wants to actively work in a supermarket. Let's be honest. No one wants to do the low-paying wage jobs.
However, that does beg the question that what happens with automation?
Yeah, so that's the thing about that, is it's weird because you say that, but there has to be ambition from both sides. Like, for example, someone could want to be working Sainsbury's, right? But they start off in the position where they're like, okay, I'm going to work as the trolley driver. Then I'm going to work up to manager. But there has to be every position filled. And, like, I feel like it's going to be a constant cycling between different types of people.
But most jobs are dead end, man. Like, most jobs, like, if you work as a bartender, most of the time, it's not for a position to be...
Yeah, for sure, but
unless you work there for years and years, man.
But the way that I see it is that some people work those jobs so they can dream in between.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people want to work their dreams.
Use it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like, some people's dreams are to have a nice house, to have a dog, to have a girlfriend. Other people's dreams are
to have a stable job, to have a nice house and a dog and a wife and
and allow them to do it. Do you know what I mean? You've got to allow that to happen.
That's what I'm saying.
I've got friends like that, and that is... It kind of seems like that's part of the lived in the same town your whole life style mindset. But you can't. I can't fault them for it, because they haven't seen anything outside of that, and I don't want to say that I'm necessarily above it. It's just I live a different life.
And the thing is about that, which is a cool element too, is that some people's perspectives are like fixed like that. Like you said, they're happy with this vision, and that's good.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
They're happy to be inundated. They're happy to.
You can't hate on them for it.
They're happy to be living in a static state. Like, that is where they're most comfortable. Some people don't want to be uncomfortable.
I mean, I can still say that. For them, momentum might even be a completely different process. So for us, it's like, oh yeah, success, and we're going to get to this level, which is good for us. But for them, it might be changing house. That's a big thing for them. It could be going on a family holiday, or there's something, a goal they're trying to strive towards. And if they're happy in that position, I feel like, go for it.
And I think some people just can't help it as well. It's because they strive towards one thing, and it kind of anchors them to that lifestyle.
Yeah, and also if you have a kid young, then you're stuck in a job where, or you're stuck in a position where you need a certain amount of income to support your young. And like, if you have a kid at the same time as working a job, your opportunities that are presented in front of you are going to be dramatically less.
Yeah, and that's not to say that people can't get out of that lifestyle, but it is kind of like a gateway into anchoring yourself in one spot, right? You have a kid, okay, so now you want to have a permanent residence. Okay, now you're paying for a permanent residence and for your kid.
Yeah.
Now you want a dog. The kid's growing up, you want a dog. Now you're trying to find your ambition is now working a better job to make a good life for your kid, to afford the dog, to afford the house, to afford your car, the insurance, all of this. It's a life that just kind of circulates itself.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. And like, if you get into that position too young,
it perpetuates itself. That's the word.
If you get into the position too young, then it's almost like you're indebted to the system.
Yeah.
You know, you haven't necessarily entrenched your position on a bigger scale, and then maybe when you want to go bigger and scale up, it's a lot harder. So you maybe leave the whole like the dog and the family thing for a bit, maybe if that's what you want to do, and then knuckle down on your situation and your job, or if you've got a good position, or you're following your creative venture, whatever. Then you can be like, okay, now I've got more freedom to explore and do what I want and have more control of the way my life's going to play out a bit more.
Yeah, that's not even to say that I exist outside of that, because I think there are pieces of me that are still trying, like, that want to be part of the system. Part of me that wants to be comfy, right? Like like I'm living in an apartment that's like outside of my means right now. Like I'm paying a little bit too much for my place to live, because I want that comfort, and it is like an ancient, like an ancient part of my old existence that's trying to, like, striving to exist still. But I think I need to live in a crappier apartment and spend less money on the place I live and spend more money creating experiences for myself.
For sure. And it's like that. It's good you say that, because it's like traveling outside of your comfort zone and, you know, pushing yourself beyond your perceived limit.
You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. It's that what you need to kind of gauge, and it takes you to step outside a bit and take that little step, and you're like, oh, okay, it's shit, but it's not too bad.
As you get older.
Yeah, of course. As you get older.
That's adventure, right? Like, what is an adventure if you're comfy the whole time? Nobody wants to read. What if Frodo never left the Shire? Like, who wants to read that book, right?
Yeah, boring. You sat there.
It's a boring adventure.
Had the ring on.
Didn't encounter anything difficult. Yeah, I just stayed there, played with the ring the whole time, and that's that, right?
Yeah.
Who wants to read that book? Nobody.
Yeah,
that's not an adventure. And for me, I want adventure. That is what I want. I want to build things, and I want to have an adventure. That's all that I want.
Yeah. So your daily process, like on your average kind of like day in Vancouver, what are you up to? What's kind of like your
routine?
Routine.
What's your routine?
My routine is I wake up, meditate, take a cold shower, make my breakfast, get everything ready, and then go to school.
You sound so millennial right now.
All right, I want to sip my turmeric latte.
Exactly.
Eggs with avocado.
Actually, that is part of the process as well.
There you go.
I'm looking to change it up a little bit, but it just, I know how I work best, and I think that I am building a routine that optimizes me for doing the things I need to do.
Because I can relate to that as well, because like I feel like Josh has a similar kind of facet to me, in the sense of that his attention is constantly shifting and changing, and he's got so many ideas and things going around his head that almost, if you don't have that sort of routine or something you're trying to do or work towards every day, you can kind of go off the beaten track and be kind of in la la land and not really get anything done. So for me, I'm kind of on the same wave. I don't necessarily do the same things as you, but I do have like a skeleton routine that I try and undertake every day when I'm just chilling in the UK, and it makes me feel like I'm on the right track. So I can really agree on that. And you, maybe you're the same, as like you feel like the routine is open to change as it evolves,
the routine has to change, because I think that if you understand the way things can better be done and you cling to the old ways, then what are you doing?
Yeah, true. You've got to be up for that evolution and that growth. Yeah. But I guess it's the fine line of like knowing what did work and what does work. Yeah. And knowing what could work and why it worked and how it worked. You've got to deconstruct it, I guess. The deconstruction helps you in your process. And again, it's unique to you, because not everything works for everyone. Not everything works for that one person. Some that might work for him, that might work for him, might not work for her.
Yeah, like for example, I thought that the only way to meditate was to sit with your eyes closed. And so after a little bit of reflection and just experience being myself, I've learned that sometimes I meditate better when I'm walking. And so I've learned that there are certain rules to these things that I thought were so concrete that I can bend. Like I'm trying to change my morning routine. As soon as I get home, I want to go for a walking meditation each morning. I want to do that instead of doing a sitting meditation, because I think that gets my juices pumping more.
So with your acting side of things, are you like actively auditioning and...
Not yet, no. Not yet. So I'm just super focused on school right now, just trying to get all that done, and then it's going to be a lot of work.
Sick. Because it seems like you've just been busy, like straight in. Because I remember like the first time we spent a lot of time together, and the first time we met, and you came back to the UK, you were then gearing up and starting to go to school, right?
That was just getting ready to go to school.
You were changing environment. You were, trying to figure out how it's going to work in Vancouver because where are you originally from?
From Calgary.
Calgary, it's a small town.
Yeah, well, yeah, small town of 1 million.
Oh, okay, so not too bad. Jeez, so so it's a big city then.
Yeah, it's got a small town atmosphere though.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were getting ready to transition into going to the school, and it was a big change.
That's a good story. Yeah, that was a big change for me actually. So that whole situation came about in such a weird way. Things are kind of serendipitous for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Calgary for a while, and I'd always wanted to go to Vancouver. I had the intention, but I had no plan on acting on it. I didn't know what I was going to do or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, my whole family gets moved to a small town called Cold Lake. Like I don't want to stick behind in Calgary and be paying rent or anything. So I'm going with my mom up to Cold Lake, and it's about 6-7 hours north of Calgary. It gets super cold during the winter. It gets like down to minus 40 degrees. Just insane. And I was so bored there all the time. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I wanted to be an actor. Wanted to be a professional free runner. Didn't know what to do about it. Then one day I was so bored, I started looking up colleges. I was like, yeah, well, my dad wants me to go to college, so let's just take a look. Let's just humor him for a sec. So I'm looking around, check out an architecture college, then I just kind of branch off into acting school.
Yeah.
Because that's what I want to do. My whole life, I just wanted to be an actor.
Would you want to use parkour and like free running and fuse it with the actor side to go into like, I don't know, action films, or are you more, let's say, the Seth Green kind of?
Ah, yes, yeah. That is the path I want to go. The second, the latter.
Comedy or the action, basically.
Yeah, I'd like to keep the physical side separate. I'm not very interested in doing stunts or anything, but I'm looking forward to applying the parkour mindset. And then if things do call for it, then yeah,
because I think you got a great opportunity there with the parkour and the free running being a part of what you could incorporate into your acting, because let's be honest, most actors are probably not going to know how to free run or do parkour, so that gives you an instant step up.
It adds on to my resume.
If you needed it, you could definitely use it, I think. And like, obviously, I don't know, just being a bit of a wild card thinking idea, I guess, it's like, to compare it, you've got Jackie Chan, and he does action comedy, you know.
Yeah, and he does
Jackie Chan's a legendary character.
That's what he's known for.
And he's got that kind of funny side that he can apply to it. And obviously, then watching your movement and seeing the way you move, I can kind of see that style bleed out. But obviously, I feel like what you said, you're more destined for this kind of strong comedic kind of performance.
Yeah, that's
you might need
it.
You never know. You might need it. It might come up.
Yeah. I'm open to possibilities. Like I go where life takes me. I really do.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I have my goals, and I go where the wind takes me, and they end up being achieved anyway.
So can you continue the story about the acting school?
I was so bored that I looked up the acting school, and I found my friend's name in the list of alumni. I was like,
nice.
Whoa, okay. So I messaged him. I was like, hey, what's up with this school? And then he's like, okay, if you join this school, it will be the best decision you've ever made.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So I had a few questions about the audition process, but I was super not committed to it. I messaged them, and I was like, yeah, okay, got a few questions. They're like, okay, we can book you in this weekend. I was like, what? Okay. So I'm in this pretty much against my will. And I ended up doing the audition, getting into the school, and ended up moving to Vancouver.
Fair enough.
There you go. So you took the chance, you took the risk.
Yeah.
And then the reward has been very good for you so far, right?
Yeah, it was super serendipitous in the sense that like it was what I'd always wanted, but never had the guts to act on. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew it was going to happen one day.
So it's almost like you had the idea, you had the inkling, you were kind of at like a crossroads in the sense of like moving and changing your scene, and like all the cogs felt like it was the right time to do it, right? Or like, how does that? I
was just so goddamn bored.
Yeah,
I was so bored. I was up for anything. I really was.
Yeah,
like there's not even necessarily a lesson in there aside from the fact that when you set an intention, your subconscious does kind of guide you in the direction of the things you want to do.
So it reminds me, one of my friends, old school friends, like he does animations, like runs a really awesome YouTube channel called Flash Kits.
Cool.
When he was younger, he just like come up with like these stupid things, which given the time was actually quite clever. He basically was like, oh, I'm gonna make this religion. It's called boredism.
Whoa.
Because you make your best stuff when you're bored.
Yeah.
When you're bored, what do you do when you're bored? You get unbored. You go out and do something.
Yeah, true. The limit of boredom does it's so boring that you have to make something happen.
Yeah, I think people need to be bored more, and they need different tools to solve their boredom.
Yeah,
I think
it's harder to be bored these days.
More of a
actually, no, it's kind of easier.
Religion,
easier and harder. Easier, harder. Is it harder or easier to be bored these days?
It's
What
kind
do
of
you
in
mean?
between.
It's way easier.
Way
Easy
easier to be
bored.
bored.
Right.
I'd say
Let
harder.
let me give you this example. You go into a sweet shop. There's like 1,000,001 different flavors. How long do you take to buy the sweets?
I kind of
Fucking ages,
I
right?
think I just gravitate to one in particular though. I think I would. And that's
Well, you go into the shop with the intention of being like, I know I'm gonna get this, or you're like, oh.
All right. In that case, how long do you spend on average looking at Netflix trying to find something?
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Fucking
Still the
ages.
same thing. I've got an intention.
Yeah?
I've still
But
got
it
an
all depends.
intention.
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know what I'm looking for because of like recommendation.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, oh, I should
yeah,
watch
yeah.
that.
But
then
the
probably night
place where I
night.
do have difficulty is like picking an item off a menu. That is the hard one for me. Like picking food off of a menu.
Actually, weirdly enough. But like, yeah, it's more the shopping.
Shopping.
is the worst for me. Man.
Interesting.
Not good. Takes quite a long time for me to decide what I want to get from the stores. Me and my girlfriend Stacey are always, oh, that looks good. Oh, maybe. And then before you know it, 20 minutes, half an hour's passed, and we're still in Sainsbury's, like aisle 3, like looking at like bagels or something.
I thought you meant clothing shopping the whole
No,
time.
I
was
mean
like,
food.
And then you say Sainsbury's. Like, what?
Usually with clothing, I know what I need.
Yeah.
I can find clothes very fast.
I
I'm
know
like,
what I need,
wanna
but
get
I
this.
like to have a little wander and just see what's about.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
A little wonder's also good, but I look quick.
I'm a very ENFP and that sort of
ENFP.
ENFP.
So yeah, I guess like people who are watching this probably don't know what the hell we're talking about with the ENF and the ANF and the JNF and what the hell is that all about. That's not even a thing.
Anal F.
But whoa.
Whoa.
There's this thing called 16 personalities, basically a scale that was devised by these two sisters, Myers and Briggs. There's a guy, Carl Jung, whose kind of system's kind of loosely based on, in a sense, and basically it's like a kind of personality type thing, which you can look into in your own time, and I'm pretty sure there'll be an episode where we speak about it in the future, but for right now, let's stick to the
hit us
Josh
a
Dohy.
comment if you want us to talk about that more in the future.
Speak about
Yeah.
it.
ENTP.
ENTP.
Fucking ENTJ, ain't I?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Josh Dohy's in the hot seat still. He's still
in the
there.
hot
He's
seat.
still there. So, you last year of college, what about your social media side and like evolving that? Like, it seems like you're in kind of like a transformation, kind of cocoon phase at the moment. So,
Yeah.
how are you going about that?
Yeah, I started primarily with free running, just making free running content. But yeah, just kind of as life changes and life goes on, it's kind of changed. Trying to move into a more comedic side. I've seen other people do it not so successfully. It's hard to transition from focuses, but yeah,
But it's hard to transition from like free running to comedy.
Well, I mean, it all depends on what you're up to. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess it is hard. Yeah, especially on your Instagram that you've built
It's
up.
a very niche thing, but like a lot of people would gravitate to it because
Yeah.
a lot of people will like watching free running and like comedy at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
The
you've
weirdest
built a
thing
fan
is-
base of people who enjoy the things you do
How are you
regardless of
gonna
what you do.
execute that? Are you just gonna help you think of like some ways to execute that?
What do you mean? So basically, like, he's going to go from free
Ideas
running
of videos
pretty much
that you can
to
make.
comedy, right?
Yeah.
There's already people who actually on Instagram, it's kind of like a weird hot topic in parkour at
Yeah.
the moment, where it's like, you've got these influencers or whatever they are on Instagram who people who are like amazing athletes and were making like the most amazing content, but they've transitioned into this kind of hybrid of like, I'm still doing
Influencer.
parkour,
Action comedy, they
but I'm
call
still
it.
doing comedy, and
Yeah.
it's like
Oh, okay,
I'm now
sorry.
doing
Yeah.
comedy, and
Yeah.
it's like some of like the original parkour heads and even me for sure, and the stories of like seeing these people who are like unbelievable, and they've kind of turned into this kind of like, I don't even know what to call it. Yeah, just this kind of weird hybridized version, and it's like they're not really like doing what they did anymore. And I guess it is that period of change. So it's like half of me is like, what are you doing? But the other half of me is like, if that's the route you want to take and you want to go down that, go for it. But I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, parkour has a very attached community. It's hard for us to let people we value branch off into other things.
Yeah, it's true.
It's been interesting to observe how the community has kind of like a disgust reaction when people want to do something else.
No way.
Yeah, it's very like, you're either with us or you're not with us.
You
It's
can't
like a-
use
like a
us to
club.
do this. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
exactly.
I
You
kinda know what
can't
you
harness your followers to do something else.
It's weird. Then now you think about it, I'm trying to take a devil's advocacy position on that, because
Yeah.
me being so entrenched in it, like that's my life pretty much.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to look outside of it, but now I can relay the other side. It's like, why the fuck are you not allowed to do it? Do what you want. Be
Fuck
who
it.
you want to
Do
be.
what
Yeah.
you want
Do
to
what you
do,
want to
man.
do.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna watch it if it doesn't agree with me.
Such
I'm
a hater,
following
innit?
it. Sorry, guys.
I think regardless, I will always do what comes from my heart. Like the things that I do are the things that come from within me. It's not contrived or it's not planned or anything. It's just I do the things that my passion creates. I suppose.
Cool. I can relate to that.
And I think I will always go with my heart. If my heart's not with free earning, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, it's true. There's no
I'm not going
point.
to force myself to continue doing something. When
I
the
guess
love's
that's the
gone.
way to make the most genuine content, then, really, isn't it?
It's got to
Yeah.
be authentic. Like, usually you can tell when someone's just putting something on just for the show of it, just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of too contrived.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
Contrived,
like-
and you can
yeah.
feel it. You can feel it lacking the authenticity. You can see when people are playing to win as opposed to just playing because they enjoy it.
But you also can have the element of the goal driven, like I am trying to win. But if it comes across too much like that in a video or in a certain influencer or whatever, or just a person in general, then it's a bit like, it's sometimes disheartening. You've got to show those different sides of yourself, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
if you're just constantly about this, then the people you're going to socialise with and hang around with, if they're from different walks of life, are going to kind of get a bit
I
stressed.
don't know, man. I
with
think
that.
there's a certain charm in not taking yourself too seriously.
That's what I'm
especially
saying.
Yes,
for
exactly, yeah.
If
That's what
you're
I'm trying to
going
say.
to feel like comedy and like which is
Oh, yeah,
based
for him, for sure.
around not taking yourself too seriously,
Yeah.
then I think
perfect.
that's great. But what are some of the ideas that you've had in trying to transition
Yeah, where do you
the
want to
content?
go with this stuff?
My humor is so random, and I love esoteric ideas. But I think the future for me
Do you know a guy called Slut Whisperer?
sounds
Whoa.
familiar.
Slut Whisperer.
I feel like I'm a slut whisperer.
Well, your personality reminds me a little bit of the guy who is.
runs the
like-
channel.
Do you know him?
No, I don't. He's
Okay.
like a 1.4 million follower kind of guy,
Ah,
and
cool.
he's recently. I basically watched this thing on Netflix that went through. I think it's called the American Meme or something,
Cool.
and he's like one of the people featured in it.
Yeah.
And he just throws mad parties, man. That gets girls in their underwear and throws champagne all over
Whoa!
it. And
He's Dan Bilzerian.
he started off as a photographer.
Yeah.
And then he's just become known for his name's Kirill was here. I don't know if you've seen anything like that about Slut Whisperer, but yeah, it's pretty fucking rad.
What a
Go
name.
check it out.
Yeah.
Go check it
No,
out.
it could be the start of Josh Dohy's prosperous career. He like gets inspired by the slut
But he
whisperer.
uses, like, the reason why I wanted to bring it up was because he uses a lot of what he's done in the photography sort of field with these parties. For example, he's got a clothing line with like YSL, but instead of like YSL, it says YU. Slut. Because it's a YSLUT.
Yeah.
And I think like he's also got other things like similar kind of humor. And because you mentioned that you do the clothing designs yourself,
Yeah.
maybe that's something that you can consider of working everything into like one big pile of creativity.
Yeah, for sure. It can like obviously Josh. Like I don't know if that's
Not saying go and do exactly
your
that,
street in terms of like the content itself, but the idea of like having some kind of hybridized version of all the things that you've done to be solidified to make this like brand, like but you're already doing it because it's in the self-talk, you're in the self. And I feel like you can kind of almost shape that into your
That's the
faction
plan
or
right now.
your
Is that I'm
different
trying to kind of
sections.
unite everything that I do under one brand. I've made kind of a brand name called Self.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to just have all my content come under that. Like
Yeah,
clothing is
sick.
Self. I'm trying to create a podcast where basically I just walk around and talk to myself, and I call it self-talk.
Sure.
I like that.
Because the way that I figure out the world is by talking about it, and it can annoy and overwhelm a lot of my friends, especially my more introverted friends. And so I'm hoping that I can kind of get it out of my system by just talking to myself, and why not just break out the recorder while it's happening?
Yeah, there you
you
go.
should
It's interesting.
I have this microphone somewhere
Bear
that'd
with
be
us.
literally perfect for you.
I have a Zoom H1 at home.
This is
Yeah.
this is next level, man.
Oh,
it's,
cool.
It's called a mic me,
Yeah.
and it's like a condenser microphone that you can just hold in your hand. It's around somewhere, but I just can't seem to see it.
That's all right.
It's an awesome piece of kit because it's a full-on condenser microphone, like same as one of these, like with the same sort of capsule.
Yeah.
And it just sounds amazing, man.
Excellent.
It definitely sounds like
I'll
a
think
solid
about it.
idea, man.
Yeah.
Because like, again, like I said, the combination of all the things that you're doing and how you can almost build a brand off it, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and it has itself kind of fits into it very nice. I like the name a lot, and
Yeah.
I think you can develop it for sure. I definitely want to.
It's just so usable, and
so
like
nice.
when you see it on clothing and stuff, you're like, that looks cool.
Yeah, never really heard of it before.
And then you
Like
could
that.
bring out like a, I don't know, a t-shirt that says like self, and then on the back like says less or something.
Oh, cool! I like
Selfless.
that. Yeah.
That could be like your depressed face.
Yeah.
Selfless.
Just trying to get less.
Feeling very
myself.
selfless. So yes. But yeah, it's been sick to have you
Yeah,
on.
basically
like.
just trying to get everything prepared to launch.
Yeah.
Trying to
Oh, yeah,
get
what's
all
gonna
my
yeah?
ducks in a row.
Send
Before
us merch,
before
man.
we round this off.
Yeah, sure.
What yeah, have you got kind of a time scale or something you're kind of working towards, or you're just gonna again play it by ear and see what happens?
I'm just gonna keep doing my thing and figure out how to do it better, and if people like it, hopefully it catches on.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. There is no plan to blow up or anything, although I would like that to happen. It's all just I just keep creating from my heart, and hopefully people like it.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, yeah, Josh Dohy, everyone, like legendary character who's come into the podcast.
Yeah, and sorry for not being as what's it called, on time with the podcast. Because,
it was just that one time. It was just
Christmas
that one
period.
Yeah,
and
Christmas period, I guess.
Yeah.
So please forgive us.
Yeah,
but we will
forgive them.
We'll stick to the harsh time schedule. Don't you worry, it's gonna happen. But yeah, like, it's been so interesting to have you on, and it's always a pleasure to be around you. And you know, we always have this kind of like conversation, the dialogue. And I feel like ideas. I can just let loose and be myself when I'm with Josh Dohy and just go a bit wild for a bit. So yeah, off back to Vancouver. Hopefully have like a sick time. How long's the flight?
The flight, oh my goodness, I don't even know. I just kind of sleep and wake up and I'm there.
Sleep, wake up, eat the plane food.
Oh, you're one of those people that can actually sleep on planes.
Yeah,
just about. Yeah. Watch a couple of films. And I know when I'm watching a film, I kind of just drift off.
Yeah.
Cabin Podcast episode 5. We are
out.